Hello. It has been said that people buy in order to solve a problem they have. If they don't have a problem, or if you can't solve the problem they have, basically you as a salesperson, you have no business selling anything to them. And perhaps a good moment it is now to define what is a problem the way I see it. In my view, there are two types of problems. A problem where the client fell into a condition below what he considered to be normal, and your product or service can help him get back to what he considers normality. And the second one, it is when he when he became dissatisfied with his current condition and he wants to go to the next step. And again, your product or service can help him make this advancement in life. Now, for the purposes of brevity and simplicity, I'm going to call both of them problems. A problem. I'm going to make no distinction between them. Most people think of problem when the person has the first type of problem, when the client is in a lower position than what he considers normal. That's why I wanted to define that. Because problem, it is also the fact that I'm not right now on a beach in Bahamas. That's a problem for me. And if you help me solve it, then I'm going to buy that solution from you. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because a couple of days ago, well, maybe last week somewhere, I was talking with a gentleman, a very nice guy, a business owner, and he was so convinced deep in his heart that everybody would love and buy his product if only they knew about it. So his marketing message, his marketing strategy was just to tell his story to everybody he met, believing that just by hearing that story everybody would buy it. And he was so convinced that this works, I had no say in, I didn't want to break this for him. But I'm going to tell you a story. Think about that for a moment. If you're still in that kind of mindset that all you need to do is just to tell your story to people and everybody would just buy instantly, think of that for a moment. You see, a couple of days ago I was into a grocery store. Oh, just wasting time, just clearing some energy, preparing for the next thing. I didn't have anything in mind to buy. I didn't have a problem like, I need to buy bread or something. I was just wasting time watching people. At one moment in time, just walking around, I noticed on the counter some samples of cheese. It was nobody to push me to taste. So eventually moving around, so it was nothing to resist. So after a while I decided just to pick a piece and I tasted it. And I liked it. And then I asked that salesperson over there for the price. I found it reasonable and I bought some cheese. And then after I bought some cheese, I stopped for a moment to think. I didn't have a problem. All I did, it was just to taste that cheese, and I bought. So, does that mean that all you need to do is just to tell your story to people and everybody would buy? Well, probably not. Because there is a distinction, a huge distinction over there that I'm encouraging you to contemplate. You see, what happened when I tasted that cheese, I allowed myself to have an experience of that cheese. I allowed myself to feel vulnerable in a way. And because it was no cheesy salesperson to push me, to pressure me, then I had nothing to resist. So I could allow myself, I felt safe and secure to allow myself to become vulnerable and to imagine what it would be like if I had that cheese. What it would be like if I taste a little bit of that cheese with a glass of wine tonight, or maybe next week, or something like that. Just go on with my imagination. That basically means to have an experience. And when I had that experience, next thing that happened, I liked that experience. And again, it was nobody to push me, so I had nothing to resist. And because I liked that experience, that means I wanted to have more of that. So I was into a state of affairs, and I wanted a better one which included less cheese, for instance. So in other words, I just created a problem for myself. I hope it makes sense. So by allowing myself to have an experience, I just created a problem for myself. And then if the exchange was fair, I went ahead and bought it. So my message for you as a salesperson is, it is a waste of time to shove your information on everybody's throat. It is a waste of time to go ahead and convince people, persuade people of the benefits of your product. Put it this way, what you really want is for the person in front of you, that prospect, is for them to have a real life experience of what it would be like to own your product or to use your service. Because when they have an experience and they can become vulnerable in front of you to imagine all of those life experiences where your product or service it is present and how their life would be much easier and they would not have that problem anymore. They allow themselves to have that experience. They'll realize for themselves if that's something that they really want. And if they liked it and they want it, they will ask for it. If they don't like it, then basically realize that you don't want them as a client. You don't really want, you might think that, yes, you might like that commission, but really at the end of the day, you don't want them as a client. Because what you want, you want satisfied clients. Because only the satisfied clients are going to give you referrals and they're going to give you, I don't know, repeat business and stuff like that. If you just grab people to have your product, to buy your product just for you to have a commission, you just made the experience about you, not about them. If you want to hold on to this concept, making the sales experience about them, then focus on the fact that you want clients who really want your experience, the experience of your product or service. So again, stop convincing and focus on giving people an experience of what you have. And the main ingredient to do that is to have them feel safe and comfortable, safe and secure in your presence, enough for them to allow themselves to become vulnerable and to go ahead with their imagination to imagine what it would be like to have your product. Think about that for a moment and tell me what your conclusions are. Take good care.